I was 12 years old when I first went to Disney World. It was the summer of 1972, the air was hot, sticky and moist. My Meemaw won the local lotto and thought it would be a good idea to treat me and my sister to a trip to Disneyland. A good idea in concept. At the time, I was too young to realize that workers in Disney World, Florida were using the innocent work environment of a family-friendly theme park to sell and distribute drugs. It was all covered up by Disney to keep up with their family-friendly image, so articles are hard to find, but I remember the local newspaper headlines eating this up when this scandal started to unfold. Drugs were mostly sold and used by workers in the park. It was only when they tried selling to park goers that the dream turned into a nightmare. But everyone knew that the workers' favorite drugs were steroids. Why am I telling you all this? Well, when me and my sister arrived at the park, we ran off from our Meemaw with excitement. The crowds, the lights, the smells, the sounds of children screaming and enjoying themselves. It was a childhood dream turned into reality. We ran all the way to the back of the park. We wanted to see as much as we could see before heading back to Meemaw and setting out a plan of what rides to go on first. But, when we pushed through the crowds and made our long 5-minute journey to the very back of the park, ignoring our Meemaw's shouted pleas not to run off, we stumbled upon a door that excited us more than any cotton candy store or theme park ride could. Employees only. Me and my sister were extremely mischievous as kids. We used to play pranks on everyone in our small little family. From buckets of water on top of doors to chili flakes in the milk, we thrived on Meemaw's reactions. So, when we saw a room where we weren't supposed to enter, something inside of us burnt with curiosity and excitement. I looked at my sis, she looked at me. We didn't have to say anything, we knew what we had to do. We slowly creaked open the heavy, wooden door. We were met with a dingy hallway. The normality of it seemed dry seeing how outside was filled with mascots, lights and trademark Disney magic. But, it was this normality that drove our wandering minds to press deeper into the aloof abyss. We slowly, but confidently walked down the corridor, minding not to step on the mold forming in the corners. At the end of the hallway was a singular door, much dingier than the heavy, industrial-like door we entered. We didn't think much of it, our mischief knew no bounds. I leapt through the door with excitement, but stopped dead in my tracks as soon as I entered. That's when I saw him. He stood like a giant, his head nearly touching the ceiling. His skin was black, but not black as a black man would be, more like the type of black you would see staring into an abyss or in the depths of space. His shoulders were broader than the stern of a boat and his hands were about the same size as me. Thick fur carpeted his entire body, excluding his wide smile, button nose and eerily wide eyes. It looked like this thing hadn't slept for days and had just been staring at the damp, lifeless wall for the entire time. I felt like I had awoken a demon who hadn't been disturbed for hundreds of years. The only clothes that this thing wore were a pair of scantily clad, bright red shorts and a pair of matching shoes. His feet were like a clown's, but thicker and flatter, like they were ran over by a car. It was Mickey the Mouse but buff. I froze, not knowing what to do in this situation. My sister knew exactly what to do however and screamed at the top of her lungs. That's when Buff Mickey, without moving a single inch, turned his neck almost instantly towards my sister. His teeth were jagged, broken and protruded out of his mouth like stalactites and stalagmites protruded out of an abandoned cave. His mouth started exuding this thick, yellow liquid that was starting to pour onto the ground below. He then uttered a phrase that I don't think I'll ever forget in my entire life. "Do you even lift, bro?"